So welcome, ladies. We're concluding our exploration of the elements this week. So we started with our earth element. We then progressed to air. Last week we did fire, too hot to handle. And this week we're doing splash and dive. So we're looking at the element of water, which is one of my favourites. So it's good to hydrate. Water is obviously essential for life. If we are, or like myself, suffering with the sinuses and the allergies, obviously we're losing liquids, so we need to replace those even more when it's hot, like it was last week. Again, you know, we're losing liquids, so we need to replenish and make sure that we're keeping ourselves hydrated. Not only is that good for our well-being, but it's good for our skin, so it makes us look younger. So as long as there's motivation there, I think you can normally get people to have a drink of water. Having plain water is a good idea, rather than adding it to like cordial or something, because your body has to work harder to then get the hydration it needs out of the water. So by all means have your other drinks, but just make sure you do have some plain water as well. I know a lot of people don't like the flavour, so that's why if you pop it in the fridge, it does lose a little bit of flavour, and it's quite a nice chilled drink. Okay, so elements of water reflecting on the body then. So we're looking at flow, we're looking at the liquid form of water. So the ebb and the flow is movement, it's flowing, it's about being able to step into the flow of life. When water is unbalanced, it can stagnate. And the example I've been using is like it was hot last week and you tend to be less active. We don't move around as much. And when that happens, water stagnates and you might get swelling. So you might get swelling in the ankles, in the feet, because we're not moving. So the yoga practice is really good to help just gentle movements. I'm not saying you've got to walk 3 miles, because in the heat, that's not going to happen. But if you just do our gentle ankle moves or points and flexes, you're actually creating that movement and getting that fluid, that swelling to actually move and dissipate through the body. And also drinking the water helps flush through the system as well. So drinking water actually does help flow any stagnated water through the body. We know the effects of what happens when we drink. Okay, so lots of qualities of water that I love. I'll mention the first one. So the first one is strength. So if you imagine that majestic waterfall cascading down, that power of water, we use that as electricity. We can use it, we make hydro lakes, and we use the power of water to actually generate power. And if you think of the rapids, when there's like rocks placed in water's path, the water moves around it, smashes against it, it can wear the rocks away. So if we think about how that relates to us mentally and emotionally, you know, rocks are placed in our paths. Life isn't all rainbows and butterflies. There are these obstacles, there are these challenges that are placed. But the other quality of water is, of course, that if it's still and clear, it can be reflective. So that reflective look back to our past rocks or challenges, we can see how we've overcome, you know, we can see how strong we've been to actually, you know, become the people we are today with those experiences. So it's really only when we can reflect and see our true strength. When we're going through it, we might not feel it, we might not know it, but when we look back and reflect, then we know that we have had that strength. Okay, so talking about the emotions, we're looking at the sacral chakra for this element. So it's actually the abdomen. This is our powerhouse as well. So this is known as our energy center. If you look at any sort of, I haven't got my big Buddha belly one here, but Buddhas tend to have nice bellies here because that's their energy center. It's known as different things in different modalities. So in the Reiki, it's the Tanden, because that's your energy center in Japanese. In Chinese, it's the Dantian. You might hear it called the Hara. So it's really a powerhouse of our energy, but also relating to the emotions. So physically, then we're looking at the hips. Hips store emotions. If we have tight hips, it's worth looking at what emotions we might be holding on to. When we release the hips, the emotions can be released. when we release the emotions, the hips can be released. So they're kind of interconnected in that way. So this is why there's lots going on with water. One more final thing I'm going to mention is it's cleansing. So we wash, we bathe, we cleanse in water. If it's warm and you're standing out in that fresh rain, it's very refreshing, purifying. In yoga traditions, there's cleansing practices where they use water. There's one that I do called Jala Neti. Jala means the water. And it's a cleansing practice where you actually run the salt water, Ceylon water, through the sinuses, through the nasal passages to cleanse and clear. So there's lots of practices like that if you get into the depths of yoga. Lots of cleansing practices. I won't go into too much detail. Some of them you wouldn't do in a Western yoga class. But yeah, Jala Neti is a gentle one and it is quite effective. Okay, so we'll make a start then. Yeah, Splash and Dive, named after a picture in my bathroom of two dolphins who are called Splash and Dive after Chaz and Dave. So it's going to be a bit of fun today, ladies. Taking your comfortable seat, closing the eyes, or having a soft gaze. So if the sinuses allow, we'll inhale through the nostrils and we'll sigh the exhalation out through the mouth. Letting go. 2 more of those. Just leaving any thoughts or concerns at the door. And fully arriving, ready for our yoga practice together. So allow the breath to settle now, coming into a comfortable and natural rhythm. Focus on all the points of contact where the body meets the earth. So noticing the soles of the feet, the backs of the thighs, the sitting bones, where the hands are resting in your lap, no judgments. And then allowing the weight of the body to settle as you exhale. Notice the support of the earth beneath you. And on an inhalation, root down and then grow tall through the spine. So the sides of the body lengthen. We can even draw those shoulders up towards the ears. And then we can draw them back and down, creating space, expansiveness at the chest that we can breathe into. The chin is drawing back slightly, so the head is naturally in line with your spine. And then check that we're not gripping or holding onto tensions. So the facial muscles are relaxed. The jaw is soft. And the tongue just gently resting behind your lower teeth. Bring the awareness now back to the ebb and the flow of your breath. So we use that to describe the breath, that connection to water, that flowing, that movement. So it's not just air. When we move and coordinate with the breath, we are creating flow and movement in the body. So just noticing any subtle movements of the body now as you breathe. And then expanding the awareness of your breath into the whole body. So experience the whole body breathing. We're bringing that life force energy, that prana, to every cell. An invitation to join in our affirmation this morning, which is, I ebb and I flow. I am water. I ebb and I flow. I am water. And then releasing the mental repetition, acknowledging the effects mentally, physically, and emotionally. And bringing the hands to Anjali Mudra, the prayer position at the heart. We'll join our hearts and our minds with one sound of Om, the sound of the universe. It incorporates the past, the present, and the future. So listening and feeling that vibration, that resonance, and then we can add our own voice to it. So take some deeper breaths as we prepare. Inhaling. And into that beautiful sound of unity, we bow in gratitude to yourself for investing this time in your own well-being, but also in acknowledgement and gratitude to each other as we join together, supporting one another as the Kula, the community. Releasing the hands, lifting the head, and gently opening the eyes. Okay, so far so good on the text, so we'll pop the music on. Perfect. So we're looking at this flow as coordinating our movements with the breath. So we're going to start with some cat-cow, some gentle movements, working with the own breathing rate. So we can get into a rhythm, get into a flow, and just notice the pauses after the inhalation and after the exhalation where we're not moving. So bring the hands to the tops of the thighs. Draw the navel in as we exhale, round into your cat. Dropping the head. There's that slight pause, and then as we inhale, we begin to move the arms back, the shoulders back. We lift the heart and we lift the eyebrows as we exhale. There's a slight pause, and then as we exhale, we round. So find a comfortable speed that suits your breath. You might want to shut the eyes. That can help you really tune in sometimes. And you can decide if you want to come a little bit lower down the legs. I'm going to stay in a higher position just for my sinuses this week. I've been being really careful. But if you want to come lower, that's absolutely fine. You can come all the way down to that forward fold if you wish. I might open the back door in a minute if you're up for it. Are you getting hot?
It's not cold.
No, I'm just feeling like I'm getting a bit hot. Might be a hot flush, but I'm getting a bit hot. Keep flowing. Sorry, I'm going to open the door before I combust. Oh no. Sorry. Well, the door's getting a little bit breezy now. So making this one the last one then, we're going to come up into our back bend. And then we're going to bring the arms wide and draw them up all the way overhead, arms together, and then trace the line back down to the heart. Good, we're going to work into the wrists now. And the other direction. And a little stretch of the inner wrist. And the other side. And the back of the hand. the other side. Good, we're going to shake that out in the fingertips. And then we're going to bring the arms all the way up and we're going to sway like seaweed in the sea. So just feel that resistance of water as we sway, getting into the elbows, getting into the sides of the body, maybe even the hips. And we can just gently twist from one side to the other. We can start to lower the arms all the way down to chest. And if it feels comfortable, we can lift the arms all the way back up again. Swishing, good, nice. Really getting that flow, that movement into the body, and then just lowering the hands all the way back down. Until finally they can rest in your lap. Notice how the shoulders feel, notice how the sides of the body feel. Working into the neck now, so dropping the chin towards the chest. We'll bring that left ear to the left shoulder, right ear to the right shoulder, and then the chin towards the chest again. So just gently repeating those rotations. Pausing with the chin at the chest, the back of the neck long, and then we'll go in the other direction. And then pausing with the chin at the chest, back of the neck long, and we can bring the fingertips into the back of the neck, giving the neck a little rub, and then we can even ease the fingertips across the shoulders as we lift the head back to neutral. So either fingertips staying here, or we can remove them, place them on the thighs. Inhale, shoulders come up, exhale, back and down. Pause, we'll work in the other direction. Last one, and then extending both arms forward, interlace the fingers, keeping the arms straight. We're going to do a little bit of rowing, so draw the navel in. It's actually churning the mill, so as if we're stirring water, but you can almost imagine that we're rowing. Exhale, you lean forwards. Inhale, draws you back. Good, we don't want to row too far, so pause, we'll go in the other direction. Good, and then come to stillness and just notice how the shoulders are feeling, how the neck's feeling. So we can do a little bit of swimming now. I know. Okay, we're going to do front crawl first. So releasing your right arm, look towards your palm, draw it back behind you, follow the gaze, bring it up and over and across to your left knee. So that's one, we're going to do 4 more. Good, so you're just exploring that range of movement that's available. And then pause with the fingertips on the knee when you've done your 5. And we're going to do backstroke now. So lifting the arm up and behind you. 2, 3, a bit close to the wall, 4, and last one, 5, and release. So just pause there. And do you feel as if your shoulder is a little bit heavier on that side? It should hopefully open up the shoulder nicely. So we're going to do the left hand now. So releasing the hand beside you, look at the palm. 1, 2, 3, good, 4, last one, 5, and pause with the fingertips on the knee, back straight now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one, 5, and releasing down. So again, just tune into those shoulders. Hopefully they feel like they've moved away from the ears. So we're going to do a little bit of full swimming now. So we're going to do front crawl first, releasing the hands beside you. We're going to reach towards the knees. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, who's winning? 9 and 10. Pause. Oh, so you've got one hand on each knee. Now we're going to do back stroke now when you're ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one, 10. And then just rest. So nice simple moves just to free off the shoulders. Should be feeling quite warm. Okay, we're going to give the upper body a bit of a rest now. We're going to start working on the lower body. So we're going to look at the toes. So we can roll them up and roll them down. You can do a little bit of freestyle. So if you want to, you can come onto the heels and do some toe bends. Or you can try working at lifting some of the toes independently. Or just giving them a wriggle. Good. And then come to stillness. So heel and lifting the heels one at a time brings you onto the balls of the feet. Working into those calf muscles. Good. And then come to stillness. We're going to march. So keeping the feet flat. Marching, marching, marching. And then come onto the balls of the feet. Marching, marching, marching. And then a little bit quicker. We're running, we're running, we're running, and splash. So we're in the puddle. So the legs should feel nice and fizzy like when we do that stomping move. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to work with the ankles now. So right leg or both together. Rotating into those ankles. Oh, it's quite nice and fresh with the door open. I'm happy now. I'm happy. My body has neutralised or found its rhythm. Yeah, and the other direction. Yeah, that's what I was meaning about, that sort of purifying feeling of the rain, cleansing. Okay, and then point and flex. So we really can splash in puddles today. And then we can do freestyle into the ankles. So you can do some conducting, you can do some circling, or you can do some swimming. Have a little play and then releasing the feet back down. Good. Okay, we're going to do some knee circles. This one's quite nice because you can feel like you're just dangling your toes in that water. So we'll lift up through the right thigh. Allow the leg to be nice and heavy so that there's no movement in the ankle here as we rotate into the knee. So as if you're just dipping your toes in that water and just gently swishing. Not a care in the world. Other direction. And release it down. Go to the left. Swishing. I can smell bonfire, that's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe someone was trying to burn some rubbish and they've been put out by the rain. Yeah, other direction. And releasing the foot back down. Good. Okay, if we have our belts, we're going to do our hip work. So you can visualize. If it's too hard holding the leg, just visualize you're doing the work. So we're going to hold that underneath the right foot. Draw the elbows back in and lift the foot up. So a little bit of fun. We're going to try a little bit of fishing, Barbara. See if you can release the belt and then fish the foot back. Release the belt and fish the foot back. Well done. And then bend and straighten. Good. And then holding the belt in the right hand. What we're going to do is we're going to place the left hand on the thigh and make sure that we're anchored down through this left foot. So the foot's flat on the floor. Lift the leg up a little bit and we're just going to guide the right leg around just as far as comfortable for you to feel that stretch with your hand still anchored on your left thigh. Then when you've reached that point, make sure we're not hyperextending into the knee. So there's a small bend in there. You have the option to open up the left hand, look towards the palm, sighing breath. Lovely, drawing the leg all the way back. Take hold of the belt in the left hand now. And you can feel that stretch on the outer edge of the thigh, that muscle's engaged. So we can just decide if we're going to stay here and we open up the hand, or you might want to bump the leg over if the hip feels okay and you haven't had a hip replacement on this side. Anchor down through your left foot, open up the hand, sighing breath. That's hard. Drawing the leg all the way back and releasing the foot all the way down. So hopefully you can feel that on the outer edge of the hip rather than just going the usual opening way. Okay, left foot now. Draw the elbows back in. And we have our little game of fishing, if we wish. Nice. And then bend and straighten. Good. Take hold of the belt in the left hand. Right hand anchors down on the right thigh, foot flat on the floor. We just guide the leg around to the left. Feel the stretch. And then option to open up the hand, looking towards the palm, sighing breath. Excellent work. Draw the leg all the way back. Take hold of the belt in the right hand and pause. So you'll feel that stretch. We can stay here. Make sure you're not hyperextending into the knee. If you feel okay in the hip, you can bump it along. Opening up the left hand, look towards the palm. Make sure the foot's flat on the floor. That's it. Does want to lift, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And then taking those deep breaths. Oh, the rain's looking great. It's dancing on the top of the car. One more. Draw the leg back and releasing the leg back down, releasing the belt. So we've worked quite strongly into the hips there. Hopefully you've freed off some stuck tension in the hips. We're going to do some sun salutations. Now, the sun salutations are a really good example of, using this flow, so moving with the breath. Some yoga classes are named after the flow. So you'll see classes that will say Hatha flow or Vinyasa flow. And that really means that you're moving continuously through the class with the breath. It might be a slow flow, but it might be a fast flow. So just watch out if you see those advertised. But our sun salutations are great. And also we all breathe at different speeds. So I'm going to talk us through the first one. And then I'm going to not talk through the second one. And we're just going to see how that feels. You can look and watch, but if you go a little bit freestyle, it doesn't matter because you're just working with the breath. So bring the hands to Anjali Mudra at the heart. Inhaling, reach for the sun. Exhale, cactus. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back, lean forwards. Inhaling. Exhale, round through cat. Inhale, back bend for cow. Exhale, forward fold, so just as far as it's comfortable for you. Right arm behind you, open it up to the right. As you inhale, extend the right arm up, spread the fingers. Exhale, forward fold. Left arm behind you, open it up to the left. As you inhale, lifting the left arm, spread the fingers. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the hands to the thighs. Draw the shoulders up and back. Inhale brings you up, brings the arms wide, palms together. Lift the heart, part the hands. Inhale, palms together. Exhale, trace the line back to the heart. Resting breath. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do one on our own. Obviously, you can watch this way when you're ready. They were fantastic. We're going to do another one when you're ready. Very nice. Close the eyes. Just tune into how you're feeling. So notice the flow of the breath. Maybe the flow of energy in the body, or the flow and circulation of blood. Releasing the hands and opening the eyes. Did we like that? Flowing? It's nice, isn't it? So we're going to come up to standing with our lift off. So carefully if you're on blocks. 1, 2, lift off. We're up. Yay. So we're going to do our energy tapping to start with. Remember, we're looking at the energy center. So we're going to wake up the energy body. So bring the feet slightly wider than hips and soften the knees. We start with some gentle twists. So just gently tapping at the lumbar. And another meridian point is the collarbone. So you can just tap one hand up to the collarbone. And then slow it down. And then come to stillness. Notice how that feels. It should feel quite nice. We're going to do the arms now. So we lift up the right arm. Start tapping from just underneath the armpit. Down to the hip. Come across to the centre. Up the centre line to the shoulder. Back of the arm, back of the hand, palm of the hand, inner edge of the arm, back to the shoulder and shake it out. Hopefully you'll notice the arm feels a little bit longer. Go to the left, start tapping from underneath the armpit. We come down to the hip, across to the centre, up the centre line to the shoulder, back of the arm, back of the hand, palm of the hand, inner edge of the arm, shoulder, and shake it out. Okay, hopefully that's evened them up a little bit. Start tapping the kidney area now. Lumbar, just a little bit gently at the lower back. Then we come down the outer edges of the legs, just as far as comfortable for you. Come up the inner edges of the legs. Then we finish with those heartbeat taps at the abdomen, our energy center, our powerhouse. And release. So close the eyes and just notice how that feels. Hopefully you can feel that sensation of tingling or zinging in the body. So really quite stimulating, opening the eyes. And we're going to do cross crawling now. So if you bring the feet a little bit closer together, this one's good for the brain, remember. Lifting one heel then the other. Notice if your arm goes with the leg. Mine does. It's not supposed to. So I'm going to bring the arms up. We want opposite arm to leg. So have a little think. Right arm, left leg. I know. If you start thinking, you lose it. So once you do it, you just have to go with it, and then you can start wiggling into the hips a little bit. So this is our little bit of Nordic skiing now, cross-country skiing. That's it, you've got it. So don't lose it. If you stop, you'll lose it. Keep going. Yay! Where they are, it's quite aerobic. Gets you warm. Lucky the door's open. And then come to stillness. Oh, well done. Okay, another one for the hips then. A little bit wider on the feet, hands to the hips. We're going to hula. Hula hoop. One way and then back in the other way. Good. Oh, good one. Did you hear? Very nice hip click I had there. If that didn't come through on the microphone. And we'll go back in the other direction. You got one as well. Oh, it's knee, was it? And then the other way. So it's a good freeing movement. You can get lots of clicks and cracks going. And then come to stillness and release. Oh, okay. So the balance that we're looking at today is our stalk balance. And we need to be quite free in the quads. They tend to get quite tight. So we're going to do a little exercise first where we can lengthen the quad muscles. So if you stand behind your chair, what we're going to be doing is bringing the foot up like a donkey kick. So if you want to, you can bring your hand there and see if you can touch the hand. So we're just going to do a few on one side. Doesn't matter which. See if you can touch your heel. Good. Got it. And release. And then just notice if you've created a little bit of length there. And then we'll go to the other side. You might find one gets closer than the other.
Yeah.
And then come to stillness. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate our stalk with and without a belt. We don't need a belt, but it's just in case Barbara wants to use the belt. So we did a little bit of fishing earlier. If we are using the belt, what you can do is you can bend the foot back behind you and fish your foot back into the loop of the belt. If you get your belt, you can then bring it over your shoulder. So it's like Jake the Peg we're looking at, bringing the knees together. So you're just really bringing the foot back behind you and looping it. And then if you can get it over the shoulder, it gives you a bit more support. Although you have to have a long enough belt for that. That's it, you got it. The alternative is to just hold the leg there, like Jake the Peg. Or you might be able to hold the foot or the trouser leg. Okay, when we've got that, anchor down through the standing leg and grow tall. Notice where your sit bones are and your tailbone. So tailbone's in the center. Root down through the tailbone and lengthen up. That should give you a bit more stability. So you can visualize now your stork or your heron standing on the edge of his pond. You can have touch contact with the other hand, just exploring how that balance might be. Good. If you do have your balance, you may want to stretch the arm up. Keep breathing. If you hold the breath, things get wobbly. There is movement in the body as we breathe. So we can move, we can breathe, we can flow. Good. Releasing the foot when you've had enough. And notice how that feels in the quad muscle. Hopefully we've made a little bit of space there. And the knee. Yeah, I know. Okay, other side then. So again, choosing if you're using the belt by hooking the foot through, or you're holding the foot or the trouser leg. When you've got that, draw the knees towards each other. That'll help you stretch that quad. Root down for the standing leg. Find your tailbone and anchor down. That should give you a bit more stability. Then you can explore this touch contact with the chair. Maybe if you have your balance, you can stretch the arm up. Keep breathing. Good. That's it. Releasing the arm, releasing the leg. Give the legs a little shake. Okay, so we're coming down onto the mats now. You're going to come into a seated position. No, we're not straight away. We're going to do that at the end. I lied. We're going to come onto our backs. So this is a really good pose to get rid of any swollen ankles, any fluid in the legs. So you lift the legs up, you lift the arms up, and then you can just shake the arms and the legs. So very gentle movement, very effective if you want to get things moving. Good. Sometimes they call this one dead fly or dying fly. And then releasing the feet down and bringing them as wide as your mat. Keep the fingertips towards the sky. Spread the fingers and have the palms facing each other. We're going to do some gentle twists now. So inhale, lift up through the right fingertips, the shoulder lifts. Exhale, bring the shoulder back down to the earth. Inhale, lift up through the left fingertips. Exhale, anchor the shoulder back down, and then carefully lower the arms all the way down to the floor, out to the sides if there's room, or come to cactus arms if there's no room. So we're going to flow with the breath. Remember, we're working with the inhale, the pause, the exhale, and the pause. So as you exhale, allow the knees to fall over to the right. The head can turn to the left. Notice the pause. And then as you inhale, bring yourself back through center. Notice the pause, and as you exhale, lower the knees to the left, the head turns to the right. Again, notice the pause, and as you inhale, bring yourself back. So find a comfortable rhythm, coordinating with your breath, the 4 stages of the breath. If you're feeling any tightness or tension in the body, you can visualize that you're breathing into those areas and those tightnesses just melting or dissolving away. Do 1 more to each side. Finishing as the knees come over to the left, so you've done an even amount to each side. And then drawing the knees back into the center, just draw them in towards you, some gentle rocks. My sinuses aren't happy really being on my back, but there we go. So coming into semi-supine position now. So the knees are bent, the feet are flat on the floor. Make sure the toes aren't pointing in or pointing out. Arms beside you, palms down. So we're going to do some pelvic tilts. So notice your footprints, notice the hands, notice the arms. Push down into the earth as you tuck your tailbone. So as if you're tucking your tail between your legs, flattening out that lumbar curve. And as you exhale, release. Inhale, we tuck. Exhale, we release. So we all have different shaped spines, so that could be quite a subtle movement for you. Or if you've got quite a pronounced lumbar curve, you might notice that that's quite a strong massage for the low back. We're going to gently ease this into a lift if we wish. So just going to come up a couple of vertebrae at a time. As you inhale and tuck, you might want to peel 1 or 2 vertebrae from the floor and then roll them all the way back down with control. Your next breath, you might want to come up a couple more vertebrae. And then as you exhale, rolling back down with control. As if you can feel each of the vertebrae pushing into the mat as you come down one by one. So you might find yourself somewhere sort of halfway now. Lifting up, keep going. A few more rounds of the breath. Until eventually you might find yourself coming into that full bridge, coming up to the shoulders. Make sure you keep the sides of the body long, lengthening out through the knees. And when you roll down, you want to roll down one vertebra at a time. Good. And just working in a way that feels comfortable for you. As I say, you don't have to come too high to feel this massage for the spine and feel into the flow of the movement with the breath. So making this one the last one then, when you next roll all the way down, hug one knee, then the other knee in towards you, some gentle rocks. And then we can roll it over onto one side, coming into the fetal position. Yourself up, and this is where we're going to come into Dandasana, our seated staff pose. So it's nice to have some support under the sit bones. If you don't have a blanket and you have your mat, you could just loop the mat underneath. But you might have a cushion, you might have a pillow, and you can see that that just straightens the spine. So we're sitting upright rather than slouching. You have to excuse me while I just go and get my tissue because my hay fever. Being laying down was not good.
I did a little cough that came up. That's allergy.
Yeah, yeah. So, and when you change from lying to seated, it just everything changes. There we go. Should be good now. Okay. So sitting up in Dandasana, you probably notice that there's quite a gap underneath the legs. You're going to try and get that a little bit lower to the floor. So if you bend your knees, I want you to draw the belly towards your thighs and hug your knees. So keep that hug as you then lift the toes and ease the feet away from you. So if you feel that you've lost that connection of belly and thighs, I want you to draw your legs back. So you're just working with what feels good for you, keeping the belly in contact with the thighs. You might get a little bit lower. And then wherever you get to, release the head and we'll hold for a few rounds of the breath. And then releasing the hands out, just send the heels away from you all the way. Bring the fingertips to the floor and walk yourself all the way back to Dandasana. So bring the hands flat on the floor. Hopefully you feel you've got a little bit more contact with the backs of the thighs, possibly even the knees towards the floor. So that's a good starting position for our twist. So if we bend the right knee, we're going to keep the foot on the inner edge of the leg. We're going to bring the right arm to the right leg. So don't let the knee fall out. You want to keep the knee towards the arm and the arm towards the knee. So they're supporting each other. Bring the left fingertips behind you. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, ease yourself around to the left. So as if someone's got hold of your shoulders and they're guiding you around, but you're using your arm against your leg to guide yourself around. Inhale, lengthen again. Exhale and twist. Try not to overextend the head and the neck. Good. And then coming back through center, releasing the leg and bending the left knee. Bringing the left arm to the inner edge. Make sure that the right foot is flexed. Right fingertips behind you, lengthen, so grow tall. As you exhale, guide yourself around. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, guide yourself around. Imagine someone's got your shoulders. Remember, don't overextend with the head and the neck. And then come all the way back through center. Release the leg. And give the legs a little shake. So either you can stay in this position for our breath practice, or you can change your seated position to one that suits you better. So cross-legged or whatever. That feels comfortable for you to stay here, that's fine then. I'm just going to put my jumper on now. I've gone cold for some reason. Yeah, it just depends on, sometimes it's down to like how the body is formed. You know, some people are never going to be open in the hips, whatever work or effort they put in. Right, I'm just going to leave that there because I think when it goes on the jumper, it does get crackled more. So I think that's when it crackles. So I'm going to try it. I'll try it like that. Anyway, so we're looking at the equalizing breath. And that is because we've been looking at all class, these breaths and the pauses. So it's called the square breath sometimes. So we can visualize a square, which is quite nice. You can think about the inhale being the left side of the square, the pause being the top of the square, the exhale being the right side of the square, and the pause being the bottom of the square. So we all breathe at different rates. I'm going to give you an example count, and then you can set your own count. We're going to use the mudra called Sapana Mudra, which is where we interlace the fingers, but the index fingers point forwards. We cross over at the thumbs, and you point the fingertips towards the earth. So as if you're pouring out or letting go. So letting go of things which no longer serve you. You got that, Barbara? Do you need me to come closer? You're good? Okay. All right, then I'll give you that example count. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. So find a count that suits your breath. If you don't want to do the pauses and you just want to do the inhale and exhale, absolutely fine. Depending on air quality or just how the breath is, you might not want to extend the pauses today. Now you've established a count for your breathing. Just explore increasing that count by 1 for each of the 4 stages. But if it creates tension, just go back to your original count. And then releasing the count for the breath, but acknowledging the effects of the practice. Seeing how it felt holding the hands in Sapana Mudra. And give the hands a little wriggle. And then choosing how you'd like to be lying comfortably for our Yoga Nidra meditation. I'm going to turn the lights off. Make sure you're going to be warm enough. Do you want the door still open?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
It's nice
sure.
to get you warm enough.
Yes, I've got my jumper on now. It's nice to have the airflow. I think that's where I got hot, where there was no air flowing. No, that's it. You've got to have windows open, haven't you? You've got to have ventilation. Right, I just need my glasses. So just get yourself settled. I'm just making any final adjustments to your position. Make sure you're really comfortable. As we know, the Yoga Nidra takes us a little bit deeper than a standard relaxation. So feeling calm, feeling peaceful, and feeling restful. The other thing about Nidra is we don't have music. Considered a distraction. Yeah, you do have Nard Nidra, which is where you have like ambient natural sounds, but generally, yeah, you'd have music in a relaxation, but not in a Nidra. Yeah, those sorts of sounds are nice, yeah. Yeah, natural sounds. Okay, so just become aware of the breath, following that movement. Say to yourself, I will remain awake throughout this practice of Yoga Nidra. And then bring the awareness to the brow center. And with your focus on the brow, you can make your Sankalpa, your personal resolve. So mentally repeating it now to yourself 3 times with conviction and feeling. So I'll guide you now through the different parts of the body. And as I mention each part, become aware of it. Repeat its name to yourself. And if you wish, you can visualize the different parts of the body one by one. So starting on the right hand side, become aware of your right hand thumb. Second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm, the back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, right side, waist, hip, thigh, knee, the back of the right knee, shin, calf, ankle, heel, sole, instep, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. And now your left hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, palm, the back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, left side, waist, hip, thigh, knee, the back of the left knee, shin, calf, ankle, heel, sole, instep, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. And now become aware of the whole of the right arm, the whole of the left arm. And then both arms together. The whole of the right leg. The whole of the left leg. And then both legs together. Both arms and both legs together. Right buttock, left buttock, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, the whole length of your spine, the whole of your back, back of the neck, back of the head, top of the head, forehead, right temple, left temple, right eyelashes, left eyelashes, right eye, left eye, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, the eyebrow center, nose, the tip of the nose, right cheek, left cheek, right ear, left ear, upper lip, lower lip, both lips together, chin, throat, right collarbone, left collarbone, right side of the chest, left side of the chest, the center of the chest, the whole of the rib cage, diaphragm, navel, abdomen, and groin. Now expanding your awareness into the whole body. Develop a sense of the shape and the stillness of the whole body. Experiencing the contact of the body and the earth. Feeling all the points of contact between your body and the earth. The weight of your body. Start to develop the feeling of heaviness. The whole body becoming heavier and heavier. Heavy body. And now let go of the heaviness, let go of the heavy feeling, and start to develop a feeling of lightness in the body. The whole body becoming lighter and lighter. The whole body almost weightless. Soft, light body, light as a feather. And letting go of the lightness, we can now explore our 6 elements meditation. And this helps us to reflect on the physical body, comprising of borrowed elements and energy, but completely interconnected with the world around us. The element of air, observing how the air naturally flows in to nourish, and as we exhale, the breath takes with it toxins we don't need, returning them again to the world. Consider how the plants and the trees make oxygen. We breathe it in and then exhale the carbon dioxide needed by the plants to breathe. Observe how the breath makes the body accessible to the world around us as the breath reaches us on the inside. And this breath exchange occurs automatically, even when we're unconscious. Instead of me breathing, the breath is breathing me. The element of earth. Become aware of the solid places in your body, your bones resting on the ground, and the minerals in your teeth and nails. The weight of the body resting on the mat. Notice how your body is held and supported by the earth. Know that the minerals in your teeth and your bones were once minerals in the earth, and they will be again. So even though they seem to be the most solid part of us, they are constantly changing as they absorb and return their substance to the world. Being part of us is just a moment in that exchange. Even our bones are borrowed and are not us. The element of water. Notice the moisture in the body, in your mouth and your eyes, maybe sensing the circulation of your blood. Can you feel the evaporation of moisture from your eyes and your lips as the water in your body returns itself back to the world? Consider the water cycle through the environment, through the storm clouds, the rain and the snow, the rivers, the oceans, and that the water in your body was at one time or another in all of those places. And when you release it, it will return to them once more. The element of fire. So we experience the fire element as heat and energy in the body. Where does the body feel warm and where is it cool? These sensations are the result of transfers of energy through the body. Sense now where the energy feels strongest, perhaps noticing tingling in your hands or sensations within the body. Notice if you can feel the heat of your body as it radiates into the air around you. And the fifth element is space or ether. So sensing the space that's holding and surrounding your body. Notice how it's possible to extend your awareness into the space around you, to hear and feel into the emptiness. Feel the body expanding and contracting into this space as you breathe. And now have a sense of the space within the body, the nose, the mouth, the sinuses, the throat and the lungs. An awareness of how the space outside your body joins the space on the inside. And the last element is consciousness. Can you extend your awareness into the emptiness around you and notice what you are conscious of? The body's contact with the earth, the touch of clothing and air on your skin, sounds near and far, smells, aromas, sensations within the physical body, sensation of the emotions, the sound of mental events unfolding in your mind. Take the time to explore all of these perceptions carefully. Finally, can you find your true self among any of these things you're conscious of? So letting go and just allowing the body and the mind to rest in the moment. Do you notice any changes in the way that you perceive yourself? Feeling calm, feeling peaceful, and feeling restful, more deeply relaxing. And with your mind and body in this relaxed state, bring your Sankalpa once more to your thoughts and mentally repeat it 3 times with conviction and feeling. And then feel and sense that passive flow of your breath and the gentle rise and fall of the abdomen. Start to breathe a little more deeply into the abdomen. And as you bring yourself back, slowly start flexing fingers and toes. Slight movement coming into the arms and the legs. If you've got glasses or an eye covering on, just move them somewhere safely to the side. And on an inhalation, bringing the arms up overhead and have a nice, gentle, releasing stretch through the whole body. Keeping the eyes closed, you bring the arms back, rubbing palms together, creating heat in the palms. You can lightly cover the eyelids. Gently opening the eyes, we allow that energy and that warmth to flood in. Releasing the hands, taking a nice deep breath. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete. So you can gently draw the knees in towards you, some gentle rocks from side to side. And then ease yourself up to a comfortable seated position when you feel ready. Not forgetting to hydrate. Bit of a theme going through the class. Oh, we're back. Well done. Okay, so I just finished then with a couple of movements with the breath. We bring the fingertips to the earth, connecting to the earth. Inhale, palms to the sky, connecting to the universe. As we exhale, we lightly pause at the brow, the throat, and the heart. Once more, inhaling and exhaling. Om Shanti 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 Om. Peace. Namaste. Thank you, ladies.